is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power. You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel. You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Rebel soul child got a fist balled. I'm a respawn of ancestors and I'm blessed, They are not him, tell him fess up. I get check stub, hella carefree, nothing scares me, hella reckless. Yeah, I got next up, right? No, we not the same, cause see when I look in your iris, you likely to talk but not ready to ride. You do better keeping it quiet. My pen is ignited, my soul is enlightened. I like who I am, but I'm biased. Their palette is right, and my drip is a fountain. I'm not like these regular guys. All of that talk is misguided. She like the way I make the tape print, but the way I make the words play is grim. I'm the reaper reaching for the kill switch. The label cut the check like the bladesman. Something sparking where his brain is. The beat is somewhere where they prayers in. Geronimo, the way I make the bass jump when no parachute is cases. They likely to run.
Tell the truth.
Face to face, they quick with the shape shift. Up through the night with the grave shift. Batted from the cradle to the grave. Big mad how they face tense. Look both ways for you catch fade. I'm a nice guy on the inside. Still I'm not somebody to be played with. Keep it all the way 1,000. I don't remember how the ground feels. I left the city, I've been browsing. Treading water that they drowned in. I head on the swivel.
Information is power.
It's only really my surroundings. They keep it all the way 1,000. I don't remember how the ground feels. I left the city, I've been browsing. Treading water that they drowned in. I head on the swivel. Yeah. It's only really my surroundings. Can't stop, won't stop. Till I tour the world when the glow trap. Better keep it dope, let it so top. Type of thing I hide in a tube sock. I done skip town on a new block, but I'm still around if you just not. Better hold it down with a group drop where I kick down for the crowd, a balloon pop. Bet they come around for my moolah. Better run them out of town for they hoopla. Queen, she a hunt like Mulan. Everything the hoes with they will, but they just not. They be right up in your face with the fake stop. They be thinking it's a game, but it's just not. They be thinking we the same, but they subpart. Leave from joy through the mud when the flood stop, pull up. Hey, I feel amazing. Pyramid scheme, how I play the angle. I send it to your girl, but I make a facelift.
This is your brain motivation.
I be hella wild, but you can't tame me. Got the keys to the cradle.
Information is power.
I ain't got no patience, kept it with a savior. I be on their nerve, but it feel painful. Make a sound when I serve, had I just taste it. Show a conversation, give them waves to their nation. The flotation is outrageous. Righteous with the sound, but a finger raising to the whole nation.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
For the young and rebellious generation. Keep it all the way 1,000. I don't remember how the ground feels.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today.
I left the city, I've been browsing. Treading water that they drown in. I head on the swivel. Yeah.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Peace, everybody. All right, everybody. Peace. Thank you for joining me. This is an impromptu stream tonight. I hope you can hear me. I actually wanted to do this a little bit earlier after this information came out about my man, DL Hughley. I mean, he's this thing keeps growing and growing and growing more legs, as you already seen or you already witnessed on these social media platforms where Monique and her husband continue to keep espousing their point of view. Everything is based in emotions. And I said it on the show on Sunday that the emotions taking over is causing the problems. At the end of the day, her husband is the manager. It is his job to make sure that contracts are properly vetted so that she doesn't have to worry about these situations. But she even admitted herself that it's bigger than just the contract. She's got a personal vendetta against DL going back to whatever happened to them in the past when he was critical of her, when she was trying to get the Netflix deal, when she was critical at Netflix. Now, we know that Lee Daniels and her made up, so they buried the hatchet, but she's still been going in on other people. And what she did, the DL, I think, has crossed the complete line. She's weaponized. And I know this is the thing that happens between men and women. Women are not as strong as men physically. So a lot of times, sometimes women will use their words and they'll get into shaming tactics. And I think that's what basically happened here. She used shaming tactics by going after his family instead of just going after him as the man. DL said today on his show, just leave my family alone. Talk about me. I'm the one. And when she came out with that other video, the other situation with her husband where they were talking and then there was this, I don't know, somebody out there cutting grass. The whole damn thing was goofy as all get out. And thank you for coming over. I know it's a late show. Nobody was expecting me to do this because everybody is pretty much used to me going live on Sunday. So I don't expect it to be the hugest crowd for some people, but hopefully people will watch this on the replay. And, he sits there like a puppet and I just feel that she puts the batteries in his back. I'm not saying that Monique doesn't have a right to speak out about the injustice that she feels that she's getting in the business. But then again, when I went live on Sunday and we witnessed the Empower Esquire say, when I asked her, why hasn't she taken any legal actions against the promoters and people that she feels have wronged her in the entertainment business? Because as much as she makes these arguments, she has yet to file a complaint at the legal level that I know of, that you know of. And now she has taken her vendetta towards DL. And even if DL went to the promoters and continued to whine or cry about, as she said, about not being the closer, even if that's what he did and they breached that contract, as Empower Esquire said, she could have sued the promoters for a breach of contract. And she could have bypassed dealing. She could have just bypassed DL and she could have had her day in court or had her day in a lawsuit, and it would have made the promoters look bad. And then it would have come out in the wash what she alleged DL did, and it would have made him look bad because she was the bigger woman by taking this whole thing legal. But now she's gotten emotional. And my man, Sir Hale, who I'm going to have on the show very soon, I listened to his broadcast not too long ago where he talked about this being a part of our culture and the emotions when black people get too emotional. And he had a point, but where I sort of disagree is that this is part of dysfunctional culture. See, we got to be very careful when we start labeling everything that's negative as part of black people. And I'm not saying that's what the brother was saying. I'm just saying there are things in our culture that we do that's dysfunctional, such as being emotional. Black people, we are emotional people. But I don't think that that's a part of our complete culture. That's a part of people who don't have control over their emotions. There are certainly black people in our community who have control over their emotions. And there are certain those that are not emotional. And I said it on Sunday, when you are emotional, you make the emotional decisions. And the husband being married to her, they've been making emotional decisions in the way they go about getting on these platforms. And this is where I agree with Brother Sir Hale Speaks Network. she took an emotional position, which emotions can lead you to be reckless and say things out of your mouth without thinking about what you're saying before you say it. The biggest question is to all of you in the chat room, are you a responder or are you a reactor? Those are questions I ask guys in my work capacity. Are you a responder or are you a reactor? Reactors are people who do things without thinking. And then when they do it, they come off of that high of emotions. Then they say, oh shit, I shouldn't have did this. Her emotions and the roller coaster of her emotions, where I agree with Brother Sir Hill speaks. Her emotions allowed her or caused her to now take it too far, where now she's talking about a man's family, children. And I didn't even know this, that DL's daughter had a sexual trauma. And where she went wrong is she said that it was a man, that DL allowed a man to touch his daughter. And come to find out, DL said she was 13 and it was a 13-year-old boy who was a friend of hers. And DL had addressed this on I think it was on Sway on Sirius XM. Have you seen that video where he admits that there was some things he wished he could have done over? Because his daughter was 13, the boy was 13. They were 13-year-old kids. It don't make it right. She experienced some sexual trauma. For Monique to bring up his daughter's sexual trauma crosses the line. Even if you are a person who supports Monique, you got to say that this is wrong. It is unacceptable, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a vote in the chat room before I play the video, the 5-minute video of DL explaining in his own words today. Let's take a vote in the chat room. How many of you in the chat room, by a show of putting a 1 in the chat room, feel, in your opinion, in your thoughts, in your mind, in your heart and spirit, that Monique, as I put her up here, Monique just went too damn far when she got into talking about children? Even if these kids, even if his daughter's grown, and this is one of DL's daughters who got married recently down the line. She got married, has a child of her own, and she was the one who actually spoke out and wrote the letter in the Instagram post where she's calling Monique out on her, as we say around here, on her effery. She's calling you out, Monique, on your mess. That's his daughter. Beautiful. We should promote more functional, quality families. Black families, that is, being families in general. But he brings the daughters into it. I mean, she brings the daughters into it. What is wrong with Monique? And it's getting worse by the day as her and her husband continue to talk this emotional roller coaster. She's already burned bridges. But then you go after DL and his wife, and this man did not go after her husband. This is what I found out, and Nappy Yankee had brought this up on his channel when I was over in Nappy Yankee. We talked further about this. DL had her on a show. She made it look like DL was just talking about her behind her back. She was actually on a show with him where he asked the question about, would you rather have this or would you rather, some sexual stuff that he was saying too. I don't want to repeat it here. And Monique was involved in the participation of that question. Then DL Hughley, being the bigger man, realized that it was not a good look. This was something that was a pre-recording, everybody. It didn't go live. He realized that it was not a good look because of the question. And he decided not to air that footage for people to see, to consume. So DL Hughley was the bigger man. Thank you. I see we got ones in there. Thank you. DL Hughley was the bigger man and made the bigger, stronger, and faster decision. Let's do a sound check here. I want to make sure that you all can hear me. So let's see if the sound check is right. Let's go ahead. Tell me if you can hear my voice. Put a 1 if you can hear the sound effects.
No! No!
Can you hear that?
No!
Can you hear me? Sound check. 1, 2, 3, 4 sound checks. Sound check, sound check. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Put a 1 in the chat room. Everybody can hear me? Fantastic. All right. All right, everybody can hear me.
Information is power.
Sound check is complete. Sound check is complete. Sound check is complete. All right, back at it again. Everybody can hear me. Everything is A-okay. So from what I'm gathering in the chat room, and I thank you all for being here tonight. Clap to you all. From what I'm gathering, that everybody feels the same in that chat room, that she took it away too far. And this is the question I have for everybody in the chat room. Why, oh, why do you believe that she has taken it this far? Why is Monique taking it down this road? Why don't she just stick to just focusing on the contract? The motherfucking, as she said, the motherfucking contract. Because that's where this all started. But I think it's way past the contract. This is personal. And it seems like when Monique starts to lash out at people, there's no stop to it. She starts adding other people into the equation, in this case, his kids. Should have never done that. And you know damn well if he had talked about her kids, particularly her son, who is estranged from her. She has a son who, from looks like, I'm alleging here, it appears that the son doesn't want anything to do with her, or that there's a rift between mother and son. I'll just say that. Looks like Monique needs to be more concerned about fixing and repairing the relationship with the son and stop adding to the trauma of D.L. Hughley's daughter. This is BS. I see we got the Queen in here. We got Natural here. Brother Jones is in the house. Dominic Jones, Empress Queen's in the house. Cass is in the house. I thank you all, those of you who came in. We got Creative is in the house. Put this on the screen. They've been supporting me heavily over there. I want y'all to check out this channel right here. You see right here, the Creative Created. I want y'all to check this sister out. Her and her husband have a great channel of very fine people. They've shown me nothing but love. I've come over there. I've gone in their chat room with my new channel, the Info Media Live channel. So please subscribe to that channel if you have not. Info Media Live content channel. And they give me nothing but love over there. And I appreciate you. And that's why I give you a clap. We have, wow. I wasn't expecting to get a good crowd tonight because I know it's late for people across the country. And that's the reason why I'm not going to keep you all night with this stream. I'm just going to get right to the point here. But we got, we got Monica who's coming in the house. We got Sir Hale. Sir Hale, you are the man I want to talk to. I brought up your name tonight. And I want you to check out his channel. I listened to your video today. And you made strong, poignant points about the emotions of Monique and how her emotions have gotten her out of control, and emotions do not allow people to think logically. And I do agree with you that in general, black people, we can be emotional in general. But I personally, my brother, all due respect to you, I personally don't think that emotions, I don't think it's a part of our culture. I think it's a part of a dysfunctional culture. It's a dysfunctional part in some of our people in our culture. Because there are certainly, and I'm not saying you didn't say this, but there are certainly black people like yourself, black men, black ladies, black women, who are able to handle themselves non-emotional and can handle themselves in a professional manner. So I think on the one side that we are in general, we can be emotional people. It still comes down to individuals and how individuals control their emotions. And remember this, my brother, in my field, I study this. People have temperaments. Everybody here is born with a temperament, and then your environment will dictate as well to how emotional you respond. This is why a lot of brothers will say that black males, when we're raised primarily by mothers, because we're getting the emotional, loving side from our mothers, that sometimes it can make us overly emotional as men. So your environment, coupled with your temperament that we're all born with, meaning a temperament is how much pressure can you take before you bust. You notice how, Sir Hale, how some people can keep their cool under fire and then some people lose it. We got black people and all people of all races who walk around with those attributes. So me and you, Sir Hale, and everybody in that chat room, we all have a threshold for how much pressure and how much we can take from somebody before we lose our cool. You might have a higher threshold than me. I may have a lower threshold than you, right? And whatever that threshold is based in our environment, upbringing. If we grew up in a family where we were taught to be more like you can look at Dr. Spock on Star Trek. Perfect example. He grew up as a Vulcan, and in his culture, he grew up in a culture where they didn't show emotions. Captain Kirk would show emotions. Why? Because he was human, and as humans, we show emotions. Monique, given her background and her abusive relationship with her other husband, I think on a psychological level, and I probably shouldn't be doing this diagnosing like this, but I think the reason why she's often lashing out at black men in general is because of some poor factors in her own relationships with men. Oh, now, come on. Sir Harold, I might need to drop a link in there and have you come up here and talk to me, brother. Tell me if you agree with me or you disagree with me. I believe that what you're seeing in her lashing out is a component of the fact that Monique has had poor relationships with men. And I wonder what her relationship was with her own father. And I'm not saying for the ladies out there that there's no sexism in entertainment, that no Monique should just lay down and let people walk over her like a carpet. But I noticed that most of the time she's lashing out at men and she's doing shaming tactics and she's lashing out at D.L. Hughley in a way that comes off as she's trying to shame him. And then by shaming him, she adds the component of getting into his family business. And check this out again, Brother Sir Hale and everybody listening. She does not have a functional relationship with her son. So when I say that I'm putting my clinician hat on, brother. My clinician's hat is on right now. My clinician's hat is a therapist. She doesn't have a proper relationship with the son, who is another male. And I hate to say it, ladies, to some of you out there in the chat room tonight, I got to be honest and tell the truth here, damn it.
Tell the truth.
It doesn't surprise me that her husband, and I hate using these labels that we hear on YouTube a lot, but it doesn't surprise me that her husband has a flavor. I don't want to attack the man, but he comes off to me as if he's got that beta male energy to him. When he's getting on interviews with her, crying on interviews, he's supposed to be the manager. The manager is not supposed to be getting emotional. The manager is supposed to be carrying out the duties of business. That's why I went at the husband on Sunday, because the husband is the manager. She shouldn't even have to worry about contract problems, because the manager, which is her husband, should be making sure that all that stuff is right before she go on that stage. And if it wasn't right, he was supposed to come out there and say, wait a minute, baby, you don't need to get out on the stage and start talking about DL. We're going to deal with these promoters. We're going to take them to court of breach of contract. And the reason why she had to get on that stage anyway, because she would have been in breach of contract if she never performed. This is a bigger symptom of a bigger problem within the internal issues of Monique in her relationships with how she deals with men and how she has been, remember, this is the key component. She was once abused herself by a man, not having functional relationships. And I want to say thank you. All right, I'm back. It kind of kicked me out of the system, and now I'm back in the system. I got some super chats here, so let me be respectful of these super chats. We got, oh, my man, this is Joe Bowling Sports and Ministry Talk TV. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
I appreciate that. And then we got the Gray Pill podcast that's come in. We got Greg Harris. We got Shy. We got Raw B. I think Raw B gave me a super chat as well. Where's that super chat? Where is that super chat? And there it is. Raw B saying, loving on Information Man because knowledge is always power. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
look.
for the super chat.
Look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not saying I'm going to repeat this again. I'm not saying that Monique has not been wronged in Hollywood. Women do not make as much money as the men. Women usually don't get the best contracts. And I had two comedians on my channel that were in the business. And they said overall, black comedians don't even make as much money as their whiter counterpart. And they told me that within the black comedian circles, they do have internal drama. Remember, he said Earthquake and Mark Curry had a little tussle with each other behind stage. And they ended up taking it up with the promoters and not going on stage talking about each other. So they had an emotional moment and they came down off their emotions and they used their logic and said, no, you know what? I'm not going to shout you out and call you out. We're going to deal with the damn promoters. And she said herself that the promoters were ratchet. So let me do this because I got these beautiful super chats in here. Let's get ready for the super chat celebration. Yes.
Time to run it all. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this. Time to run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Time to run it all. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this. Time to run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Time to run it. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm making great. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this. Time to run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Time to run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this. Time to run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Time to run it up. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe. I call up Nigeria, come through in a hurry. Those London boys don't come.
All right, everybody, peace. I'm going to bring that out. So let me get right to it right now. Let's listen to D.L. Hughley in his own voice, his own thoughts. And matter of fact, I got to pop this back in here again because when it kicked me out, it took some stuff out that I had ready to go. And just give me one moment here. We're going to get this thing going. This is not bad tonight. 117 people watching at a time that I do not go live. I do not go live at nighttime on a weekday. I just happen to be off today and be free. And but this is pretty good for during the week. So I gotta give it to
Evans,
you.
used to love
Here we go, everybody.
So I know that I said that I'd done all I could here about this whole Monique situation, but over the weekend, her and her husband released a video where I was doing the interview and I detailed my daughter's sexual trauma. Monique has taken that video and perverted it for her own uses. She's decided to add her own narrative. I will only say this, and I'm answering this now in response to a request from my daughter, who, of course, over the weekend was crying, of course, having her trauma, tried it out in front of the world in a situation she had nothing to do with, that doesn't have anything to do with a contract, would be traumatizing to anybody, particularly when it's from somebody who claims to love us for real. But she proceeded to talk about how I let a man touch my child, which nothing could be further from the truth. They were both 13 years old. They were friends that had grown up together. She told me about it years later, and when she told me about it, and this is something I lament to this day, denied that she. I said, "What?"
Let me say thank you for the super chat from Empress Queen.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Chat.
And we're going to get back to what D.L. Hughley is saying. And this is very important because Monique brought up a very sensitive topic that had absolutely nothing to do with her issue with this man. And this is what we call playing in the mud. And this is what we call what happens. And I'm going to go with my brother, Sir Hill, speak. He was right. This is where emotions will take you. It will take you in a sinking place and make you do things and talk about people's family members that is just not kosher. And I'm telling you, what goes around comes around. Monique should stop doing this because she needs to prepare the relationship with her own son. Let's play this again.
She proceeded to talk about how I let a man touch my child, which nothing could be further from the truth. They were both 13 years old. They were friends that had grown up together. She told me about it years later, and when she told me about it, and this is something I lament to this day, denied that she. I said, well, you know, that's what kids do. Now, that was my estimation of it. It was not her interpretation of it. She was hurt by that. And I will never forgive myself for not, A, believing her, and B, handling it the way I did. But for Monique, A, to put a man in that room, which never happened, and B, to bring up sexual trauma in an argument that has nothing to do with what you're talking about is unconscionable. My daughter Tyler addressed it. My daughter Ryan addressed it with her in a letter. And the thing that I was most proud about in the letter is not only that she held her head high because she's supposed to. The other thing is she said there are legitimate things you could have gone after my father about because my children know exactly who I am. They know that I'm not perfect. They know that I'm flawed. And none of them would have a problem with you assailing things that are really true. But you and your husband putting a man in my daughter's room when that is not what I said, and you weaponizing it and using in a trite argument shows exactly how low you are. You are a monster. You literally are. You didn't play Precious. You didn't play Precious's mother. You let her out. You stopped pretending to be human, and you won a role for being exact. You won a Oscar for being exactly who you are. Who says they love women and are there for women and protect the babies and would trot out someone's sexual trauma just to use in an argument? I don't know anything about you.
That's right.
I know that what happened to you when you were a child, what happened to you when you were growing up, those things are traumatic to you, and I would never bring them up. Never. It would never occur to me to do it because that's not where I live. Mm-hmm. That's not what I do. You have had this argument or this show be about everything. It was about a contract. It was not. It was about an insult on the radio station, on my radio station. The question never aired. You know it never aired. And you continue to have this. And then you have the temerity to answer my daughter's letter with an invitation to come on my show. I will never let you on my show. Never. You will never talk to my children. I will never have anything to do with me. You do not exist. Maybe leaving my children out of your mouth will leave you room for the food you love so much. Look, you can continue to do whatever you want to me. That is fair game. I'm in this business. For you and your husband to continue to do things like this, you have already, first it was a contract. You've attacked everything. The dog, my wife, now my children. Enough. You do not exist to us. You don't get to break my family. You don't get to do that. I don't know if you ever had a man who loved you as much as I love my children. I don't know if you've ever had anybody who's standing in your stead, because the man next to you damn sure ain't doing it. All he's doing is wrecking what's left of the rubble of a career that you're
he's hurting her career.
Trying to build back. Leave my children alone. Stay with me and we're fine. You are a horrible woman. You love women like Ike loves Tina. Now that girl over there, well, I shouldn't call you a girl, this woman over here, you know one thing for sure. I love you. And I'd never let it. And I'm your daddy for real. And you don't have to pay me for it. One day I hope that you're happy, that you can stop being such a miserable, low human being. Maybe one day you will get to be as small as you often act. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel.
Tell the truth.
All right, everybody. So that is the word from DL Hughley himself. I did put a link in the chat room. I don't know if Sir Hill is still here. I would love for him to come up because he made a very powerful statement on his channel, Sir Hill Speaks Network. I'll be having him on the channel very soon to introduce him to you all so that you can give him support. But I would love him to come up, or anybody who wants to talk for a little while. And I do mean it will be a little while because it's getting late for me. But and I would have liked to have done this earlier today, but I didn't have the time. And I was over on Coco TV, a wonderful sister who invited me on her channel, and we were talking about how to build a YouTube channel. She invited me over there as Info Media Live, and that's what I was doing over there today. And I said, you know what, I want to do this. I don't want to do this tomorrow. This is the hot news right now. And I also was kind of curious to see if I would get good numbers tonight, because normally this channel gets better numbers, or it does better on the weekend. So I'm kind of a little bit shocked tonight, but I understand because the topic is the hot topic and people want to engage in this type of topic. But I think she's gone too far. And we're going to see how this all plays out. Look, I don't want any ill will towards Monique. I would like Monique to be happy and rebuild her career. I think her and Lee Daniels have buried the hatchet. So hopefully, I think she's supposed to be in a Netflix movie this month. I think July 14th. And I would like to see her have success going forward with her career. But this sort of stuff where you're talking about other people is just, it's going too damn far. So let's see who we got here that's coming in. And what's going on? Who do we have here?
Hi, Information Man. It looks like it's going by my display name, but my name is Stephanie. I just wanted to do a quick sound off right before I head off to bed, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, because I only wanted to make this a short stream anyway. What's going on, Yusef, Ratchet, today? Good to see everybody in the chat room. Pamela, everybody's looking good out there. Go ahead, sister.
Yeah, so I'm kind of catching up with this Monique versus DL Hughley drama. I've been I've been a follower. I don't know if I can call myself a fan of DL Hughley so much anymore, but I've been a follower of his career for a good amount of my life. I'm fairly, young. I'm in my mid-20s, so my first introduction to DL Hughley was the roasting on like Comic View and things like that. You know, and over time, he's evolved. Like, we are human beings. We have the right to evolve and learn and unlearn, and that's exactly what he's doing. And, he's always specified himself to not be a perfect man. He's made mistakes. He's learned from those mistakes, and he's looking to move forward with his life. And I just hate the fact that he's not Monique is continually bringing his past in front of him, like he hasn't already addressed it to the public. Not like he needs to, but he has.
Right. Well, he's already told the public about his gang affiliation. He's from the LA area.
Yeah.
He was a blood. He was open about that. He did do
specified
some
that in his first book too.
Right. I think he has had some infidelity issues as it relates to his wife that he's been with for many years. He has admitted that he's not always been the perfect father. I mean, I got to be honest. DL has been an open book because he has put it out there before the press got to it and tried to drag him. So I don't know why. This is the thing that's crazy. I don't understand why. Well, I understand, but I don't understand why Monique continues to try to drag him with stuff that most of the public already knows about.
Right. And the thing is, she's not without reprieve either, because she herself has spoken about things she's dealt with in her past. If you go into, like, I'm a person that if I like a particular performer's, their body of work, I'll like, okay, I wonder where they came from, their humble beginnings. So I've read up about Monique. She came from Baltimore, She had a prior marriage that was unfortunately a bit violent.
Right.
She left that marriage. She got back in contact with her now present husband. I think they were childhood friends.
Right.
And they blossomed into a love, and now they're married. Fine. You've had previous things happen in your life. You had a violent situation with a previous partner. You had, unfortunately, some sexual misconduct happen to you. Like, I feel like we shouldn't be playing a game of who has suffered the most, and we shouldn't use this to leverage our stance on if we're in a conflict. And that's one thing that continues to disappoint me about this entire Monique and DL Hughley situation. This could really be covered up. Like, I'm sorry, if you want, we can have a do-over at another comedy venue in Detroit, and you can headline, and we can see how the numbers fare. But it's turning way too deep. And I feel as a woman, for a woman that always advocates for the betterment of other Black women, for a woman that has spoken about her own dealings with sexual misconduct, I feel like where is this turn? Like, this is turning into a new path that is just destructive. Like, you had a second chance. You basically that's gone. It's toasted. It's a pile of rubble now.
Well, I think her problems are a symptom of bigger issues. So, for example, when we look at this situation, we simply look at it as, okay, it was a comedy, but something went wrong in the comedy show. The promoters were ratchet. She thought that she was told that she was in contract, that she was the closer. Look, all that stuff is the window dressing. But if you just take all that stuff away and just look at her as the woman and hear the things that are coming out of her mouth as she lashes out at people, it tells me that there's a bigger problem that's bigger than just the issues that she's having in the entertainment business. There's there's some trauma there. And I'm going to be honest.
I wasn't even going to say trauma. I just think she has a big head. She's got her head.
Right. But when people have anger comes out of what? Anger comes out of trauma. Anger comes out of trauma, and anger comes out of depression. So you have people that can be depressed, and they'll mask their depression in their anger. They'll lash out at you. I think that there's something bigger. I think that she's never gotten over the way she was treated by Netflix and everyone, because I think when it came down to it is that when she got the Oscar, I think maybe, I'm just saying in general, that maybe in her mind she felt that, okay, I've arrived. I got the Oscar. Everyone is showering me with rewards. I did this damn good movie that did well at the box office. I got an Oscar. So now the red carpet should be laid out for me. I should get the same contract as men. I should get the same contract as the white women. I should be king of the mountain. And I think that's where the narcissism and the self-aggrandizement of I should have made it. And I think when she didn't get that treatment that she thought she was going to get, which is why she thought that, hey, I'm going to get this deal with Netflix and I'm going to make a lot of money. And wait a minute, they lowballing me. And I think because she felt embarrassed, being that she was an Oscar winner and the red carpet was not laid out for her, that's when she took her anger and depression about those things. And what do people do? They lash out. Look at your own family. People who are close to you in your own family who have problems, what do? They lash out emotionally because they have not gotten, and then they isolate. Right. They have not gotten over, and they have not dealt with the disappointment or the trauma of an experience that did not vote well in their favor. Guess what? We all have experienced that, and we've all had a period of time when we've gotten depressed, and the first people that we get nasty with is the person that we love, like a family member.
And then it becomes too, like, by the time we realize, like, this is not the course of action for me to take, instead of me to, you know, have a tantrum about what's going on, like things aren't working in my favor, what you should do is pick yourself up and build your skill set, and then use your merits to at least meet or exceed that one high you thought you got. Like, as D.L. Hughley said, like, it's not based on your past that continues your like what makes you relevant. It's what you're currently doing. What that particular stage performance showed me was you were there to vent. You did not, and according to what he said in terms of the timelines, you were there 2 minutes before the actual performance. So first of all, you didn't come in professionally. How are you going to bicker and have an issue with something? At least, you know, fulfill your portion of the agreement and then complain later on. But you're coming in 2 minutes later. You came here solely to berate this man. And then you had maybe 2 or 3 minutes worth of jokes. Like,
let me say this. When I had Empower Esquire on Sunday, she said that it looked like that her contract was the more legitimate contract in comparison to his deal memo. So what I'm saying is, if that was the case, Monique had all the cards on her side. She could have simply just said, I'll see you all in court. And then it would have been a legal matter, and it would have been seen as, okay, she's being professional. And that's where her husband, the so-called manager, here's where he's supposed to step in and handle that type of business. But what I'm starting to see this, and that's why I want to hear what the ladies,
common denominator and all these things.
Yeah. This is what I want to. This is why I want to hear from the ladies too tonight, because we have this lady right here, Shauna, who says, I was a supporter of Monique, though for most of her career. She supported her for a lot of her career. But she lost my support with her actions this past weekend. She had no business talking about someone else's trauma.
Especially trauma you faced yourself.
Right. So what I'm wondering is, it seems like some of the ladies or some of the women are starting to turn on, well, it appears to me, especially on social media, that some of the ladies are turning on Monique mainly because she went there with the trauma. And I think some ladies identify with the female daughters that he has when they're talking about sexual trauma. So this is where women have a kingship with each other, because a lot of women can identify with that because there's women who have been abused themselves. So I think when she weaponized that, she may be turning women against her, women that can identify with D.L. Hughley's daughter. But it backfired on her because she was trying to make him the bad guy, but she flipped it against herself, going after the daughter as it relates to sexual trauma, when there are many women who have experienced sexual trauma. I'm putting my clinician's hat on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I see. So if any other ladies want to come up, I'm going to put another.
Thank you so much. Not take too much of your time. I appreciate just the.
No, I appreciate you coming up.
Yeah, have a good day or night.
Okay,
rather.
Thank you, and I'll give you a clap. Thank you. And guys are welcome up here. I was hoping that Sir Hill was still hanging around there so he can come up and give a more perspective based on what he said on his channel. But any guys are welcome to come up too. But it's just interesting to hear female perspectives in terms of women who have turned their allegiance away from her. Because I think what I said was a key component of this. She went after a female child. Now, it would have been just as bad if she went after a male child, but I think women more often will identify with other women when it comes to sexual trauma. And I think she backfired with that one big time. Because this whole thing is about shaming DL and making him look bad and making him look like the bad guy and making herself look like the victim. But now she has created a situation where now we're seeing DL as the victim and her as the culprit. So her psychology has just reversed on her. That's how I see it. I mean, what do you all say? Sharon, how you doing? Thank you for coming over and supporting Coco T TV over there with what I talked about today. Thank you. And Sharon says she had the same situation. She went around talking about the guide. We got my man Dominic Jones, who says the studio called her 3 times. Lee tried to call her. How much that promo worked was. And let me see who else we got in here. Let me see. Susan says Monique needs to set her ass down. Hollywood is over, people. It's about the Joe Biden and Democratic White Party. We got Brandon Recovery TV, who's come over to play me a surprise visit. He's one of the really good supporters on my Info Media channel, where I talk about strategies and tips. If any of you out there are interested in creating a channel, building a channel from scratch, or improving your existing channel, come over and subscribe to Info Media Live. It's on the page of this channel. Hit the bell notification, and we're going to go to class over there and teach you everything you need to know to build up what you're doing. And I also bring people on panels and talk about these issues. I want to be more personable compared to the other guys and ladies who do this type of content over there on that channel. Let me see who else we have here. I appreciate everybody coming in. My love is here saying Monique has low self-esteem. Yeah, well, I want to be fair about this. When a woman is the women can say this better than I can, but I know that when a woman is abused, and even a man, but when women are abused, they will have low self-esteem. And sometimes you can have Stockholm syndrome where you identify with your abuser. And there's something in psychology we call projection and counter projection. That's when counter projection is when you meet someone that reminds you of someone who abused you. So you project on them what your abuser project on you by saying you don't like them because they remind you, maybe the way they talk, the way they move, the way they look at you, reminds you. So you will project your shortcomings onto other people. And then the counter projection goes back to when someone reminds you of someone that did something horrible to you. And now it affects you when you see them. Maybe I'm just saying, maybe I'm putting on my Koofy hat right now. Maybe there's something about DL Hughley that reminds her of her ex or maybe other relationships. That's how it works, folks. Or maybe not. But she did admit on another video with her and her husband that it ain't about the contract. It's about the personal vendetta that she has with DL. That's what it's really all about, ladies and gentlemen. We got Wow William 454 in the house. Let me do this. Let me pay attention to the chat room and put up what you're saying. We got Cher here who says, do you think all of this mess between Monique and DL is another distraction geared towards US? Well, it is a distraction because it's keeping us from talking about issues that we need to be focusing on, like these high gas prices, like the fact that inflation is getting out of control, things of that nature. It is a distraction. It really is. Because it's keeping us from not paying attention to what's really happening to us in this world. Ms. Smith says, good points. Thank you. We've got Jones in the house. Dolores Jones, I hope I'm saying these names right, says, please tell me how this is not exactly the same thing that Oprah exposed Monique's trauma on her show for rating. No. Don't get me wrong. Oprah was completely wrong for exposing her trauma. But this is the thing, though. Monique didn't have to go on Oprah Winfrey's show. She didn't have to take the invite. And if you've been watching the Oprah Winfrey show over the years, you know that this is what Oprah does. They all do it. When you go on a show, you know damn well in show business, and Monique already knows this because she's in show business, that it's all about the ratings, baby. It's all about the ratings. Everybody knows that when you go on Oprah Winfrey's show, she gonna ask you questions that's emotional questions that may make you cry. Now, should Oprah have gone there? I would say, no, you shouldn't be opening up people's trauma if you're not a trained, professional, certified therapist. Because they're in therapy, you have to know how to open things up, but properly give it closure. And you can't. And what happened to her on Oprah Winfrey's show is that Oprah is not a therapist, so she didn't know how to give proper closure. And that's why Monique walked away traumatized again from the experience of having to talk about that on her show, which, by the way, Monique could have said herself out of her own mouth as a grown woman, I do not want to talk about those issues. I've seen plenty of people come on people's shows and say, that's an area that I don't want to talk about. Matter of fact, see, if her husband was any kind of manager, she could have easily told Oprah's people before she went on, I will not answer the question about my personal trauma. You see how it works? But if you don't do those things in preparation, then you open the door to be asked these questions that you don't want to be asked. And Monique knows this is how show business works. She knows it. With her, she always says that she's got 30 years. Well, her 30 years should have taught her that in show business, they're going to exploit you for ratings, baby. She should have known that. I'm not even in show business, and I know that, okay?
Tell the truth.
All right. Tell me I ain't telling the truth, everybody. Tell me I'm not telling the truth. Okay. What's going on? What's going on? The mass media group. Peace Info Man. Basically, this is just another form of ego on the plantation. They both off code. Yeah, it is. They are off code. But you got to be honest, though, brother. You shouldn't go after people's family. That's just the thing. And I got your emails about the reparations rally. And that's on the 12th of July. No. That's next Sunday. Next Sunday, not July, June. Next Sunday, I'll be there. And I saw the speaker's order. So I think you got me speaking 5th at the rally. I'm looking forward to this. We got in California, we got the whole reparations movement going on in California. And I've been graciously invited to speak and participate in the rally. And maybe I can get some live footage and come back to this channel and let y'all see the footage. But I'm glad you came over here, but let me give you a clap. I want to see other people's opinions though here. And if Monique was so hurt by that, why would she pull it on someone else that makes her sicker than the thought? Wow. Let me put this up here. Let's see. Crystal Scott says, no, this isn't a distraction. If you know how to multitask, very well aware, go what's going on. Yeah, that's true. I would agree. But, not everybody knows how to multitask. Some people are distracted by things like this. We have a new guest up here. We got QI Films Media in the house. Thank you. Oh, she dropped out. Hopefully she'll come back in. Let me see who else we got in here saying some things. Let me see. Peace. Okay, I read that. I thank you for coming over, my brother. I'm looking forward to that. The rally and all the participating in the goal of reparations, the California reparations bill. Okay, we got Tiffany Thorman. She says Mo was totally wrong and misinformed about DL's daughter situation. Will she apologize? Oh, that's a very good question and a very good point. Will she apologize? Well, DL has already doubled down, has already digged his feet in 10 toes down and said that he will never have her on the show. You heard it tonight on the video that I played. He's never going to have her on the show. He doesn't want to hear from her. He wants nothing to do with her. And because actually, when I put out that post that I put out, there was a rumor out there that he invited her, but come to find out she was trying to invite herself. And he says he will never have her on. Now, personally, if they really wanted to squash this whole thing, I would say, I think DL should have let her come on his show, because he could expose her as a fraud on his own show. I don't mean sabotage her, but he should have let her come on the show and speak her rhetoric. And that's where he could have confronted her, and he could have brought his daughter on the show. DL DL could have really won some points here if he would have brought her on the show, because he could have exposed her on the show. It's just, I'm just saying. Okay, let me bring back on here. How you doing, by the way?
Salute, brother.
Oh, salute to you, sister. What you got for us tonight?
All right. Now I'm going to start real quickly with Monique. Monique has issues and she really needs therapy. And that's all I really want to say about her, because I don't like bashing sisters, even though she's trying to pretend like she's for black women, but not, because she is one of the biggest black women bashers. She said that black men can teach women how to be women, that her husband taught her how to be a woman. You know how y'all say, because we all, like me and you fight for men and I fight for women. They call me a feminist. They don't call you nothing. But it's not to say that I'm against my black brothers.
Yes,
because I'm not. But I know that I have to fight for my issues first.
Yes.
Just like you have to fight for your issues first. And I wish that all black men and black women will understand that.
Right. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. I don't mean to cut you off.
My phone might die, so I'm trying to hurry up. But go ahead.
I got to ask you this question. She was asking for an invite to go on DL's show.
Heck,
and of course,
no.
But because she talked about brought out the daughter's trauma, DL said hell to the no. Maybe if she hadn't have went there, maybe he would have been willing. But I think it would have been a great opportunity for them to either bury the hatchet, bury their feelings and their emotions and get past it. Or it could have been a moment for DL to expose her hypocrisy too. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exposure is not what we need to do as black people. We do enough for that today.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you make a good point there. That's true. But she certainly exposed him on a stage in Detroit at that theater now.
She needs therapy. People who do that, black people who do that, lack something in life. When you're going after the other person, you're actually going after the other person because you think they're bigger and better than you. You know what I'm saying? In some type of way. And, and so it's a part of it's a black dysfunction that we need to get rid of. But let me go on to my, next point. She did she shouldn't have went on, let me finish yours too. But she shouldn't have went on the show, not until this heals. Because it'll never have any true meaning. We'll never get to the root of anything meaningfully for the collective men and collective women until people are actually able to have a realistic conversation about it. See, our problem as black people is we're having a whole lot of conversations, but we're not having realistic conversations. And then the next thing I want to say is Oprah Winfrey is my blood cousin. She's nothing like most people portray her to be. She's not a bad person at all. In fact, we really need to salute her, for allowing black people into mainstream media. And I don't get that. The reason why, I get, this is what I get. I get that a lot of misogynistic black males, they started running campaign, negative propaganda and campaign against her because she was a black woman. A lot of the stuff that they hold Oprah to, and what she's done a lot more, like the Morehouse she gave to more, like for individuals to go to Morehouse scholarships. Oprah has done a lot more than rich ass Jay-Z.
Right. Now we have to be honest. She has given a lot back to certain institutions, black institutions. That is true. But I will stick to the point that I made earlier that she is in the media game and it is about ratings. And Monique, being someone who's got 30 years in entertainment, she knows how this game works. That they're going to ask you questions, and like I said earlier, she could have she could have easily had her husband, who's her manager, say to her people, "I won't answer these types of questions." Right? A lot of people do that.
Right. So that wasn't on Oprah either. And then Oprah has been molested, and one of the things, and I've been molested, and then one of the things people like me and most people who have healed from molestation know is that you have to speak out about it. You have to fight, not a bad fight. Because, you know, the difference is you have to fight. But the difference between me and Oprah and then Monique, me and Oprah, we have a good fight. We're trying to expose it. We're trying to help people to realize that this is not the way to go. We're trying to, because, you know, like exposing it, like for those people who have issues who might need therapy or whatever, go get therapy. You know, whatever. It's not like we're trying to take down, you know, like black men because we're women. Because I know black males have been molested too. It's like we're trying to expose it so, you know, hopefully people can see how it affects people in life. Now, Monique, her approach is totally different. She is out here venomous. She's out here poisonous. And that's one of the things, that's why, like, she don't want me on her radar. She does not like black women. I don't know why. And then it is very insulting that she's playing with our intellect by trying to pretend like she does when she was the main one out here attacking black women about a simple thing like a bonnet, a hat. A hat. Something you wear on your head that does not affect what you eat, the children, the future generations, economics, any of that stuff. Something, you know, and as black people, we got to stop focusing on stuff that don't make a difference. What a person wear, how they wear their hair, that doesn't make a difference in life. That's not helping us to progress. You know, but, you know, and I'm passionate and I work hard.
Well, I got to say this, though, sister. One of the things that we, as a people, that we have problems with is we don't take criticism or even constructive criticism very well. When Monique made those statements about the bonnets, I didn't look at it as she was throwing black women under the bus. I think that she was giving some constructive criticism. And I got to be honest with you, because we know that there's always this different opinion between black men and black women, where black women don't like when black men sort of have criticism of black women. But I see a lot of black women who don't like taking instructions from other women. And that's a problem that women are going to have to deal with.
It's not instructions.
Right.
It's
but to my point, I think
like what you're calling instructions comes off as chastisement to black people.
Right. But this is our problem, though. This gets back to the main theme of where I was going at tonight.
Like, we know that constructive criticism is different.
Right. But my sister
is telling you. Like it's explaining it where it does not. It's not belittling you.
Right. But because of some of our emotions sometimes as a people, not all of us, but some of us, sometimes we do not adhere very well to when a person is trying to give us constructive. And because and that's where
you put my phone. I don't want my phone to die. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Okay. Let me do this. Let me bring in. We got my man, Mr. Pirate.
Let me just finish this.
Pirate Brain.
Jump out like 1 more minute.
Go ahead, because you're cutting. You're kind of cutting out. So go ahead. Go right ahead.
My phone is probably dying, but like I agree with you. But then it's like this. Monique wasn't doing it for the constructive criticism. Monique was doing it because she has self-hatred issues. And so I don't like to pretend either, because I analyze before I speak. And then as well, like, you know, like, we have got to start analyzing, like, you know, when you say constructive criticism, we got to recognize that across the board. And constructive criticism should not hurt. But basically what I, you know, came up here to say is that Monique needs therapy. I'm not a fan of DL. DL probably needs some therapy too. But one thing I can say is at least he's acknowledging his mistakes and acknowledging his wrongs. Okay. And we got to stop honoring and putting these celebrities on some type of high horse that they're human like us.
Right. They are.
They got a break.
But remember, a lot of these black celebrities come from the very black communities that a lot of us come from. And I'm going to say this, that I want to say that it's not just these celebrities, but I would say that there's black people in general who are walking around here undiagnosed, not getting help, having trauma. And you see it here on YouTube where people bring their trauma to YouTube, which is why you see all the doxing and people going back and forth fighting each other, because black people internally I'm generalizing here, folks. Internally, we hate ourselves, and therefore, because we hate ourselves, we turn to hate on each other. Once again, because Monique has some issues with herself, she turned and lashed out her problems on those around her. In this case, it was those in the entertainment business. Now, out of that trauma does come a component in which she is a woman in a man's business, and she's dealing with sexism, right? As well as the racism as a woman, and not being treated with the same respect and pay that she thought that she deserved because she won the Oscar. So that also adds to her trauma.
But she
on top of whatever she brought to the table before she got that. Right.
Yeah,
but
she messed it up.
She messed it up. But the point I'm trying to make is, going back to what I had said earlier, she reached the pinnacle of her profession by getting that Oscar in her mind, and did not get the treatment, because that's why she talked about the white woman, the Amy Fisher, whatever her name is.
She should have took that Netflix deal. She should have went on and did thing for
I think she
Oprah and
took,
Tyler.
Right.
You know, because that would have added more to her resume, which would have increased her value.
And I was saying this on Sunday. Maybe if she would have took that Netflix deal and worked the hell out of it and made it the top show,
and the Oprah and the Tyler stuff,
then she could have. Let me finish here, please. If she would have taken that show and rocked the house out, she could have leveraged it. Remember, I said this on Sunday. When Dave Chappelle got his first deal with Netflix, I guarantee you he didn't get paid what he's getting paid now. Because when he first did his first special, they probably didn't know that it was going to blow up like it did, and it did. So in a way, she probably could have leveraged Netflix if the damn program would have hit high numbers. So, but see, that's where her so-called manager, her husband, has to work those negotiations out with a clear, unemotional mind. Let me go ahead and do this, and I appreciate your input tonight.
I'm about to go ahead and do that, but I'm about to get out, bro. And let me just say this. Yes. You know what Sydney, her husband, is trying to do, what Daddy is Zaddy, or whatever you want to try to do, he's trying to get his money real quick and leave. He's tired of sitting there and dealing with that stuff. He's trying to hurry up and get a big group of money so he can go and get on up out of there. That's what that is. All right, peace, bro. I love you.
All right, peace to you. Who knows what it is, but it is something crazy. Mr. Pirate Brain.
How you doing today?
Thank you for coming up. And let me say to Miss TJ Rudolph, thank you for being here, sister. I saw you in there. I've been wanting to shout you out. And I see we got Sometimes I Get Carried Away. We got the Queen here, Smith, Tiffany, Williams 414, Empress Queen, Tiffany. I think Miss Jackie was in the house. I know some people are peeling off because it's late. They got to get some sleep. But let me hear what you have to say, brother. And I do agree with what you said in the chat room that Oprah does attack and has attacked black men in a direct and indirect way. And another thing that really hurt black men's image too is that when we go all the way back to when she did that show where she brought that dude on the show out of nowhere that was talking about, black men are on the under. So then what that did is that put out there in the atmosphere that, there are a lot of black men out here that are getting down on the under. And so what we always do is we conflate shit. We take the minimum of black men who might be getting down like that and make them a maximum of black men. I never liked what she did, bringing that man on the show and it really put this narrative out here that black men were on the down low. That nobody was running around America saying, well, white men are on the down low, Asian men on the down low. It was all arrow on black men. I'm sick of it. Mr. Pirate Brain. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I disagree with that last person that you had on there, because Oprah has been attacking black men. And even though she brought that guy on there that said black men was on the down low, she vetted him. She knew what he was going to say. So I'm not thinking to myself, well, black men did this to ourselves. No, she did it. She brought that man on there. She attacked Michael Jackson after he was dead and gone. And he brought the ratings up on her show when she did the interview with him. Mm-hmm. And she attacked Joe Jackson. She was very disrespectful to Catherine. She just does not like black men, and she will do anything to destroy black men. Her and Gail. So I disagree with what this lady said. I disagree venomously with what she said. And look, Monique's not perfect, okay? But D.L. Hughley attacks black people all the time. He's a Democratic shield. He rides for the Democrats, even though they do nothing for black people. But he's getting his butter biscuits. See, I'm not gonna take D.L. Hughley's side on this because I've listened to the show and heard him time after time talking about black people. Right.
But let me just stop you right there though. Would you agree or disagree? Because I'm not going to disagree with you that he has talked about black people, but would you agree with me, brother, for the purpose of where we're going here, that children should be left off the table? Family members who have nothing to do with the bullshit should be left off the table, right?
I agree with that. You know, but I think that he's attacked black folks that he had no reason to attack them. You know, as far as people with their
tell the truth,
he attacked Kanye. No one's getting on his case about that. He attacked Kanye West, but it's okay. No one's, you know.
Yeah. Nappy Yankee, what's up, brother?
We're gonna leave DL alone on him attacking a person with mental illness.
Right. No, I mean, they both have said some things out of their mouth that's very questionable. And but I just think in this particular case, as it relates to what happened in Detroit with them, I just think that you have to leave children off of the table. And let me just say this, because Nappy Yankee is in the chat room, and you're welcome to come up, Nappy Yankee. Nappy Yankee made a point on his show that, you know, Monique has been so wrapped up into praising 50 Cent, but 50 Cent, to be very fair about it, is the same man who sort of left his child for debt. Is the same man has had some questionable character as it relates to paying his child support for his kid and other things of that nature. And so if you're going to talk about DL's shortcomings, I'm talking about her, then you have to also recognize that you're also aligning yourself with other people who have some shortcomings as well. When you talk about, hey, you know, I don't know how your wife can sleep with you and perform with you. I just think she just went a little bit too far with that. Obviously, they have some problems. DL has been transparent about some of the things that he has done in the past. Has he been transparent about the things that he has said that has been cruel to people? I haven't seen that. But in the case of this situation, I just think Monique's emotions have gotten the best of her in his circumstances. And maybe it would have been cool if they could have gotten together on his show and talked all this shit out. Who knows? But let me bring brother Kevin's Clubhouse 818 in here. He's been waiting to speak for a moment, and I appreciate you being up here, Mr. Pirate Brain, because you bring a perspective that's necessary. What's going on, brother?
Salute. How you been?
I've been all right. Good to see you.
Yeah, all right. I tried to come on the other day. I had saw you reached out with the link, and by the time I came up, you was kind of going to close it down. No, you've been pretty much spot on with most of how you see the situation. I don't think that and salute to the chat, salute to the panel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the kids, I mean, off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things, certain things have to be off the table, and people can't take personal feelings and add them to a situation that clouds their judgment, because that throws out everything you're talking about to a degree. If you don't start off to a degree, if you don't start off prioritizing the problem in the situation, and that's the person that don't have nothing to do with it. That's the true victim in it. First, ain't about DL at this point. When you start bringing in other people, you got to get them other people out first. Just like with the war over there, women and children first. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, children, then women. Some women wanted to stay because some women felt like fighting. So You got to get out. So that's first base first. Okay, got to get it. You wrong for that. You can't, like I said, the mob. You can't take on that mob mentality. You know, comedians, they touch close to, you know, people's lives or people's stuff, but you're in the media. Dave Chappelle does it. We pick certain people and allow them to, you know, to do what they want to do, and then we tell somebody else, "Nah, you can't do it." Yeah, and you know, Dave Chappelle can do it because if you like Dave, or Kevin Hart can do it if you like Kevin. But then when it comes to the next dude, Mike Epps or whatever, no, he got a short leash. Yeah, the therapy, you know, will she ever get it?
You know,
go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No, I want to you making good points, brother. This is what I want to bring up. This is what I wanted to bring up before. And I do find this very interesting. Corey Holcomb, I think isn't Corey Holcomb out there in LA where you are? He down there in LA, right?
Yeah, I'm not too far from LA yet, but yeah.
Corey Holcomb went at her he went at her like real nasty.
Yeah.
And she has said not one word about Corey Holcomb. I have to bring that up. I do find that very interesting that she's been willing to go after, maybe because she sees DL Hughley as weak. And she don't want no parts of Corey Holcomb because he's like a battle rapper. He's a comedian.
I got a different take.
All right, brother.
I got a different take. When you are a battle, see, they're all comedians, right?
Yeah.
And it's easier to fight me after I fight you, information man.
Okay.
Whoever. Period. You're gonna be a good squabble. You're gonna be a good squabble.
That's true.
So you don't get no credit for wanting to go second from me. That's weak shit. Catch her fresh. Where she ain't got all the energy for you right now. That's why she said I'm cool. I'll holler at you later. You're not reading up. I get at you later. I'll holler at you later. Now,
so she might get on him later on after she deal
with you right now.
Right now. So after she deal with DL. Yeah, after she deals with DL, then she might come for Corey Holcomb later.
If she come out smelling like roses, right? God willing, right?
Yeah.
I promise you she'll go back and address Corey. If she
good point.
And DL been talking salty
if she come
about
out
her
smelling like roses, if she come out on top, he ain't got nothing to lose. I agree with that. You yelling from the ballot, you ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got a dog in the race. So I mean, you're a comedian, but you tear people up for a living. So stop it. Come on, Corey. It ain't like you the moral of comedians.
That's right.
Come on. You're not the moral compass.
I was just kind of curious, but you know what? It now makes sense. It's like when you read the book 48 Laws of Power, take on one battle at a time. She's now battling with DL. When she gets finished dealing with him, now she'll come for Corey when he least suspected.
Hey, man,
Okay, that's the art of war, baby. Yeah, that's right. Let me do this because I'm gonna get ready to close this out pretty soon. But we got some other people on the panel. My man, real Aaron Collins, man, bring it to us. Bring it to us now. Aaron. Testing 1, 2, 3. Aaron Collins, are you there? Now? Yeah, brother, we waiting on you.
Yeah, I'm still here. Oh yeah, man, this is, I'm basically pretty much repeating some of the same talking points I said Sunday. But one thing I will say about Monique, like I said, I think Monique probably has some good points before. She just said them at the wrong time. But to come for someone's children, and I've expressed my disdain for DL Hughley. I don't hate him, but I do have some resentment towards some of the things he said. But to come for his children, I gotta admit that's off limits. I mean, I don't care how much problem you have with me, if you can't bring my kids or my wife or family into it. That's just that's like in the street. You do that, like we said earlier. I mean, that's some stuff that'll get your ass stumped in the ground or get you murked. I mean, that's how that's street. That's hood rules right there. I mean, you coming from people's families and stuff like that. She don't know that man's family, and talking about a child who suffered sexual trauma, that's just plain evil right there.
Right.
And for that to come from and for that to come from a female, especially a black female, because black women have suffered so many problems and such sexual traumatic abuses and stuff. She should understand that firsthand 100%.
Right. I totally agree with you. Once again, I just want to make it for the record. We do know that, that Monique is frustrated. There's some things that happened to her in the Hollywood that she's not happy about. And I also believe that she's not happy with the fact that she believes that there were some well-known people who didn't have her back during the Netflix situation. And then, as we already know, she lashed out. She lashed out at Lee Daniels. Of course, they made up, kiss and make up. She talked about Tyler Perry when Tyler Perry at one point in time had her back, and then she kind of turned on him. And then she brought up the Oprah situation. So she's lashing out at a lot of people when at the end of the day, the problems are really with herself and some of the things that she's not coping well with. And I think she's just not coping very well with the fact that you are a black woman in Hollywood. You got the Oscar, and they ain't going to treat you like they treat the white girls. They're not going to treat. Look how long it took Denzel Washington to win an Oscar. Yeah. And when he did win an Oscar, think about it. Let me just say this. Every time black people win an Oscar, it's always for a ratchet role. Let's see. Halle Berry, she got an Oscar for being a thought. For being a thought. Sleeping with the man who put her own man in jail, if I'm not mistaken. Denzel Washington should have got an Oscar the first time for Malcolm X and something like that, but he gets an Oscar for playing a crooked cop. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So, or they give you an Oscar because you're a black man, you put on a dress and you playing another type of sexual role. You see what I'm saying? Right?
And basically, and Monique got the Oscar for playing an abusive mother.
Right. That's my point. Hollywood is giving people Oscars. And then what makes it kind of sad is that you can make an argument that Will Smith won an Oscar for playing a dignified role as the father of the Williams sisters. If you think about it, there's two black men who won. If you think about it, the one black man, Sidney Poitier, he got an Oscar for playing a role in which he carried himself as a dignified man. And after he won that Oscar, all the other actors who got that Oscar, they playing some trashy role. Will Smith is the only one outside of Sidney Poitier, if I'm not wrong, who has won an Oscar playing a strong black man role. But he screwed it all up when he went up there and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock that night. And now his Oscar has all sort of boo-boo on it. Because nobody's going to remember that he won that. No one's going to remember that he won the Oscar for a dignified role anymore. They're just going to remember that's the night that he slapped the shit out of Chris Rock.
May I make a comment on that real quick?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We got to remember, and first of all, before I say this, let me say I love Sidney Poitier. I think he's incredible. But he's not a foundational black American, so they didn't mind giving him a Oscar for being a dignified person.
Right. But on the flip side of that, though, he was still being treated in Hollywood like any other black man would be treated. You know that Sidney Poitier had to fight for some of the dignified roles that he was playing. You know he had to turn down a lot of roles where they wanted him to play these stereotypical roles. So even though he might be of Jamaican ancestry or something of that nature, at the end of the day, Bahamian, okay, Caribbean. Even though even if he is of Caribbean ancestry, I'm sorry, they're gonna see you as a Negro until they hear your accent. Until they know where you're from, they're gonna still see you the way they see any black American that was born here working in them damn cotton fields.
One thing about Hollywood, and I say that from working in the industry, Hollywood, for one thing, it's fickle. Even among us, unfortunately, it's fickle. There really is no camaraderie.
Yeah, it is.
There,
No,
there really
but
is no camaraderie. It's fickle.
yeah, it
And
is.
then, Monique needs to realize Monique, she's a double minority. Number one, she's black. Number two, she's a woman in this industry. So
Which is
that would
why I totally agree with you. That's the reason why we can't afford to be fighting each other as black people, as women and men. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. And that's why I think there's a deeper problem with Monique that goes beyond the Hollywood shit that needs to be dealt with. Yeah. And I don't know if she's brave enough to go get some therapy for this, but I think there's some problems. And we know that DL Hughley has his trauma too. A lot of black people have experienced it. Just being in America. If you are a black person in America, raised in America, by default, you have been traumatized. Period. We all have trauma. Period. Okay.
Tell the truth.
And let me say peace to JW, who came in the house saying fact, and I appreciate that. And we got Queen in the house. We got Koof Blue. But let me do this. We got Brother Richardson, who's been waiting patiently to speak, because I'm going to get ready to close this show out pretty soon. Let me hear what you got to say, brother. And I appreciate you coming upstairs. Uh-oh, can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Get the audio together there. Okay, now we're listening. No, it's okay. Brother. We just couldn't hear you.
I think she had a real problem with tact. I don't care where you put it at. You still have to have tact. When you go on a comedy show, you ain't coming for nobody to be talking about another person on the show. It's no tact in that. I can't. You come there for the jokes. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you feel? I mean, when you go anywhere, it's certain tact that you got to have, and her goal is to be talking about other people. It makes her feel good. Maybe to tell. Our therapist told her don't do it, but she go out there anyway.
Well,
you talking about the person on the show with you? Yeah. Come on.
Would you agree or disagree with me, brother? I kind of want to take the window dressing of entertainment out of this and look at it just plainly as this is a dysfunction.
It's
a bigger symptom.
No matter where she at.
Right. And I want to say this because Sir Hale Speak, who came in my chat room earlier tonight, and I'm going to be bringing him on the show I'm going to be doing an interview with him on this channel. He made a good point on his channel. He said that we also have to look at the fact that the crowd reinforced her behavior when she went out there and they got the clapping and yeah, and woo, and right, and and clapping, woo,
they trying to laugh. That's why they trying to egg on them laugh, but they want part of the act.
Right. Maybe, you know what? You made a good point. Maybe in the beginning, they thought it was a part of the act. I'm about to get ready to end the show soon, Miss Queen, Empress Queen. I'm gonna bring you up, but I gotta end the show soon.
Thank you, man.
Let me say this. You made a good point there. Maybe in the beginning they thought it was a part of the act, but then as she went on and it became personal, it did seem like the crowd still kind of edged her on. And why I'm saying this, because Brother Sir Hale brought this point up, is that it also speaks to a deeper problem that we have in some of our black communities, where we'll sort of parade this sort of dysfunctional behavior. Not all of us, but some
you gotta
of us.
Look at you gotta look at our history when she's doing the Netflix thing, where she's talking about Lee Daniels. If you starting out your comedian sets with 5-10 minutes of that, they know that what she gonna come in there doing. They waiting until she can get to the joke first.
Mm-hmm.
Please get to the jokes. All right. Well, I mean, if you don't pay $80 or $100 to sit down, you trying to say get to the jokes, all right? But you're gonna try to egg on so she can get to the jokes.
Right. Let me say peace to Betty Boo Boo, who's in the house. She says we should hold social accountability or suffer for not holding people accountable later. Wow, we will. It's called the way the universe works. What you don't do right now is going to come back to get you later on down the line. Empress Queen, you just dropped off. I was going to bring you up for the moment before I close out, because I know you wanted to add to the discussion. It's just that I wanted to remind you that I'm not going be up here very, very much longer. I didn't even expect to do it this long tonight. Well, it's not that bad. We've been on for about an hour and 34 minutes. That's not actually bad for tonight. And I know it's late for people all across the country. And I want to say hi to Mary, Dominique Jones, Tiffany Thornton, Tiffany Thurman. Let me say that right. Tiffany Thurman. Nappy Yankee came through and made some good points tonight. Empress Queen's been making some good points in the chat room. We got Rochelle is in there. JW came in. A lot of folks. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe, everybody.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Subscribe to the channel and check out the content on my channel. You might enjoy some of the content that I have on this channel. And the channel is growing step at a time. And we're going to just keep doing what we do over here. Let me get some closing statements from some of you brothers. Let's start with Mr. Pirate Brain.
What I wanted to say is, I think Monique was wrong bringing the children. I agree with that. But at the same time, I think that like some of the women are disappointed with her because she criticized them with the bonnet. Just like a lot of black men were mad at Bill Cosby because he criticized black men for not pulling their pants up. Now, let me ask you a question. Was Bill Cosby wrong? I mean, is it a good look for the pants to be under the butt cheek?
Let me tell you what I experienced this Friday. I went in for a haircut. Now, maybe I'm just getting old. I'm 52 years old. Maybe I'm just getting old, Pirate Brain. I went into the barbershop, and there was about 2 dudes in the barbershop. I kid you not. Their pants were damn near their knees with their drawers showing. One of them even had 2 young kids with him. Then the other dude, it was a black dude and a Latino dude. And I sat up there and I said, you know, back when I was a younger man, or when I was in high school or junior high school, you used to get laughed at if you walked around with your pants below your ass. People would laugh at you if you wore your pants like that. It's become a social acceptable in some of our communities where people wear, and I kind of wanted to say to dude, I really wanted to say it, but I didn't want to cause no problems for myself or even getting into anything with this dude because, you know, you got to mind your own business. But I really wanted to say, dude, would you pull your pants up? Because I really don't want to look at your drawers. And secondly, dude, I work in a prison environment where you actually, if you're in prison, you're actually advertising your booty for somebody. And
I used to work in a prison too.
Right. And actually, the reason why a lot of these guys wear their pants like that, because when you're in prison, they don't give you a belt because they think you're going to like use your belt to take your life. So what happens is these guys in prison start to adapt to wearing their pants. If y'all want to know the history, they learn to adapt to wearing their pants below their butt because they don't have a belt. And then it was also a way to convey to someone, I'm open to sex. So what happened is you had all these guys leaving prison, going back to the community, getting involved in rap music, and they popularized the pants being below their asses because they took prison culture and put it into mainstream culture or put it into urban culture where all the rappers are wearing their pants below their belts and below their asses. And then our youth grow up and they watch these guys and they emulate that by wearing their pants below their butts. And they don't even know where this shit comes from. It is prison culture.
Exactly. And you can't tell them anything because they get mad and then they'll say, well, you have to tell them in a good way.
Right, Yusef.
It's like
right.
He's saying, well, you got to tell her. Well, the women don't want to hear anything about the bonnet. There's no good way to tell them except for just rip the Band-Aid off. So
I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest. I don't like seeing brothers with their pants below their butt. And I don't really like seeing sisters walking around with bonnets on and wearing pajama pants outside. I really don't. I don't personally like it. Now, am I going to go up and say something to them? No, because, you know, it can cause you all kind of problems. But I just think it's Mr. Pirate Brain and Real Aaron Collins and Mr. Richards. Wasn't there a time in black society where it was dignified to go outside your house dressed properly? There was a time when your family would tell you, boy, You ain't going out the door like that, son. Put your trousers on right, boy. I remember that.
Look at
I
pictures
grew up
from the 50s.
right. I grew up in a community where if I was to walk outside my mother's door dressed wrong, the people in the community would say, "Where you think you going dressed like that, boy?"
Yep.
So this whole thing about this stuff being our culture, no, it's not. Our culture, if you look at all the old pictures of black people back in the day, they were suited and booted. The ladies dressed to the dimes. Even when black people didn't have a lot of money, you might have had one suit, but you kept that one suit clean and you would wear it to the dimes. We used to be a dignified people that wore clothes nicely and were dignified. Where the hell you think the fashion industry got their ideas from? Watching black people. We are the ones that created fashion in this goddamn country.
Yes.
And now we walking around with our pants below our asses, bonnets on our heads, and pajama pants with no dignity at a time when we were some of the most dignified people coming out of slavery. Now look at us. Oh, now look at some of us.
And what happens is the ones that are looking bad are the loudest. It's not all of us, but they loud. So they're the ones that get noticed.
I mean, man, I know I'm sounding preachy tonight, but we really have, some of us have fallen below the bar, man. Below the bar. Below the bar, damn it. We were the ones who were the most well-dressed. All this fashion that you see today, they got their ideas from watching black people in the 70s and 60s, the Superfly outfits, the hats, the fashion. They stole it from black people. Used to be a time when a black man wouldn't go out. I'm just going by what I've seen through reading history and looking at movies and documentaries. Black men used to go out of the house and wear a hat. I remember my father, because my father grew up in that 70s generation, 60s generation. My father used to have bad threads, man. He used to wear the brim hats. Y'all seen it? Y'all grew up around it?
I'm 60. I grew up in the time, man. I used to have a white brim hat. I used to, have white shoes.
We didn't went from brim hats and suits and ties
Stacey
and white
Adams.
shoes and Stacey Adams and penny loafers maybe and all that kind of stuff to now the best we can do is wearing some pants below our ass like we got a bowel movement.
Yeah, my dad
Your last
back in those days.
Yeah, the last statements for the night, Aaron.
You guys are all hitting on all cylinders tonight. You brothers are talking some facts. I saw a mini documentary on MSNBC a few years ago. It was about this guy, a real famous inmate from the penal system. You probably heard of him. He goes by the name Fleece Johnson. He was nicknamed the Booty Warrior, and he was talking about how when he was in prison, he had a certain way of getting people, getting other inmates and telling them, I like you and I want you. We can do this the easy way. We can do it the hard way. He gave them a choice. And when they asked him about, well, what do you think about this generation today that sag their pants? He said that, they think this a gangster style, but he said to them, basically, if you sag your pants in here, like you were saying, Info Man, somebody gonna be up in that ass. That's just what that is. You're gonna be somebody's wife that day, and they might pimp you out. And I know I might be sounding a little bit graphic, but you know what? It's the truth. That's what's gonna happen to you. They asked him that he was saying that getting booty was more important than air, more important than water. That was why they nicknamed him the Booty Warrior. I mean, this is how he lived his life in the penal system.
You know what? I think I seen that documentary. It was a dude. It was a black dude, and it was embarrassing actually. And he said, "All I think about while I'm in here is booty, booty, booty." Oh my God!
But he was being real though. He was telling the truth. It was like, that's why I think they should probably reenact the scared straight system, because I remember back in the 70s. back in the 70s, I saw a Scare Straight program. It was broadcast from Rahway State Penitentiary in New Jersey, and the inmates were up close and personal with these wayward youth, and they was letting them know, listen, this is what's going to happen to you. You come up in here with us. We're going to do blah, 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 do so-and-so to you.
Right.
And that was what it was. And something and this was on broadcast television. They was cussing and everything, but you know what? That needed to be said because the youngsters back, those youngsters needed to hear that.
Well, let me make this point just to be fair about things. Every generation grew up and did something that the older generation didn't like, right? So all of us did something. Remember back in the day, we used to have the members only jackets. I used to break dance.
I remember.
I had the tennis shoes with the big shoelaces, and I used to like to have the Adidas sweatsuit because I was breakdancing, right? We had the Kango hats, all that kind of stuff, right? Every generation does something that the older generation don't like. But when I think about it, even when I think about it, even with all the goofy stuff that we did back in the day, the different generations, I don't remember anybody saying, yeah, pull your pants down.
Right. It was never like this.
So even if you had right.
You know?
So even if you had a Kango head or you wore some wild colors, cross colors, or you had some brim head or some Superfly outfit on, you still had the clothes on your body. All right, brother Ernest Richardson, close us out, brother. What are your final thoughts for the night?
I remember when we was going to downtown. I was a little kid. We had to dress up to go downtown in our city, in the city, because they didn't allow you. Your mom didn't dad didn't allow you walk out the door, just like you said, dressed in the kind of way. And then you got to think about it. You going downtown and you walking downtown and you say, why are they dressed up like they going to church? No, it was just a part of the culture at that time. But you got to realize when the thing hit to the 60s and 70s, they try to pull us together, then pull us apart. They did all these things like keeping people out of projects and all that, men, and breaking us apart and making us think that if we hang out with them, we arrive. And that's the biggest problem.
Right. Thank you for that statement. Let me do this. I got some special guests in the chat room. I got them on right up here with me. We got the king of NJBTB TV, Mr. East Wack. These brothers are deep. They got a great channel over there. I think I came up on their channel about a week ago and talked about gave my perspective as it relates to Monique on their channel, and it was fire, and they enjoyed it. Got to get them over here on this platform. They got a big platform over there. They gave me nothing but love when I came over there. I'm always watching either if I'm not in the chat room, brothers, I'm watching the bushes. So thank you and much love to you. Check them out. The king of NJ. BTB TV, Mr. East Wick. Y'all the best out there. Y'all the best. Y'all the best, man. Thank you for coming over and paying the Information Man show a lot of respect tonight, because I really respect other content creators that put down real information. So what I'm going to do, and Empress Queen, that's why I wished you would have stayed on there so I could have popped you up here. Once again, every time I say I want to end something, it starts going and going and going and turning into something else. But look, everybody, I'll be back live on Sunday unless some other breaking story comes out and I can report on it. Other than that, you'll see me live on Sunday. Check out Info Media Live. That's my content channel. If you want to build a YouTube channel or just learn what we do behind the scenes. And we're going to keep this thing going. I want to say to you, Mr. Pirate Brain, thank you for coming up. Thank you for being here. A clap to you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you as always. Let me say to we got a brother in the house here that I want to definitely shout out, and that's the Black Star TV, sports TV. Check them out if you like sports and you like real authentic commentary to what's happening in our sports today, and someone's gonna give you an unbiased perspective. Check out Black Star Sports TV. Anybody that's new here who just ran across this channel tonight, go ahead and subscribe. Check out my catalog of videos. I think that you might like what I'm doing over here. I think you're going to be surprised by the subjects that I talk about over here, the broadness of the subjects, the guests that I bring on, and the perspective that we bring over here. Because I bring up guests, I bring other content creators on who have credentials. Just on Sunday, when I talked about this subject about Monique, I brought the Empower Esquire on. She's a lawyer. We gave the lawyer perspective. I had two brothers up here, Kevin Lee being one of them, and Carl Yard, who are entertainers, who are comedians, who have been around Monique and some of these comedians, and they gave us a perspective about the business. And then we gave you the personal perspective. You get a well-rounded content on this channel. So go ahead and subscribe.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
It doesn't cost you anything. It's free of charge. You hit the bell notification, and when I go live, you're going to get something incredible. Normally, I go live on Sundays between 2 p.m. Western Time, which is 2:15 p.m. Western Time, which is 4:15 Central Time and 5:15 in the East Coast. I normally go live on Sundays. Every now and then, I will surprise you with an impromptu stream like this out of nowhere, and it'll be a joy for you. So everybody, share this video on all your social media. If you're a content creator, share it in your community tab. I would appreciate it. That's how you build channels. Thank you, everybody out there. Real Aaron Collins, once again, thank you for coming up here. Now, Aaron Collins is another brother who works in Hollywood. He's been in production, and he was on my show on Sunday and gave us another twist. Now, Aaron, give us a little information, because remember I talked to you on Sunday about how Monique was complaining about how they were making her, they wanted her to promote the movie, I think when she won the Oscar for Precious. And she didn't like the fact that they weren't paying for her trip there, what have you. And she's not like a huge actress, right? And sometimes sometimes the actors are going there to promote a movie, but they may be paying for their own trip. It does happen depending on how popular the actor is, because the actors recognize that, hell, if I go and promote the hell out of this production and that production skies up, I'm going to get my money in the back end any goddamn way. Plus, they might make a sequel to the movie, and now I sign on for bigger money. Tell us how it works.
Yeah, that's basically how it does work. I mean, like when we asked her to come and promote the movie, there was no guarantee. Because see, like if say they were in actual production for the movie, and he wanted her to fly out, then that would be the case. He would probably gave her some per diem, which is basically some money that you would get, you know, some pocket type of change, or some money that'll hold you over. That's called per diem. But to promote the movie at that time, Monique was big, but she wasn't a big enough name like some of the other people that were in the movie. And it was like you said, if she just came there, just told to come out there, just walk this red carpet and kiss babies and say hello to people and stuff like that, you're getting yourself out there even then. But she got the big head, obviously, and thought that, well, yeah, you know, you need to know who I am. And like one brother said that Sunday, he made a real good point. She was good. She got the Oscar for Best Actress, not Best Comedian. So what she did as an actor is different than what she does on the stage. Now we know her as a comedian, and from being on situation comedies such as The Parkers and other shows and the Queens of Comedy. We know her from that. But do we really know her in a dramatic sense, in an actual film role?
Right. And that was her first dramatic film role. And it could have, this is where she dropped the ball at. It could have led to her transitioning away from being a comedian to doing dramatic roles if she had just not let her ego get the best of her. However, I do understand why Monique felt slighted compared to her male counterparts and even her white counterparts. I get that. But Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry told her, you got to play the game, because everything about Hollywood is playing the game, no matter what, what race you are. However, white people do get a more of an edge. But if she would have played the game and not got into this whole beef with all these people like Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry and Oprah, we could be looking at we could be looking at Monique probably not even needing to do comedy anymore. Think about all the comedians who have transitioned away from comedy, like Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is still a comedian, but most of his movies are dramatic.
Yeah.
And he's making more money and he's become a bigger star because of it. So she might have missed her opportunity because she allowed emotions and ego to overtake her. And to me, it's not a coincidence that ever since she got with her husband, Sydney, everything has been going downhill, or it appears to be going downhill. Everything, thanks a lot, once again, my brother, for coming upstairs with me. And everybody in the chat room, let me let you know right now that I appreciate all of you rocking with me this late night across the country, supporting this channel like you're doing. All the new subscribers, I love you all who have come on board to give a brother some love. From Young, he says this, I lost all respect for DL. He's been talking about it every day. Yeah, he should stop talking about it. But guess what, brother or sister? Monique has been talking about it too. Both of them should shut the hell up. But you got to be honest here. She shouldn't be talking about his daughter. That's the problem. She's talking about his kids. He was right when he said, just talk about me, but leave my kids out of it. That's where Monique is 100% orange juice wrong.
Tell the truth.
And everybody in the chat room, from Empress, Queen, to everybody, thank you for coming out, rocking with a brother. You gave me a big surprise tonight. I was kind of curious. Could I rock a good crowd during the week when I don't normally go live during the week like this? And y'all came out and y'all showed out and showed me you can give me strong support during the week like this. And I appreciate it. Appreciate all of you. I'm a down-to-earth brother. No matter how many people are watching, how big the channel grows from step to step, I'm not going to get a big hit. I'm going to keep myself grounded with the people, talk to the people, invite people on the panel, be a part of the YouTube streets in a very respectful way. This channel is developing in the way it's developing, not because of me, it's because of you as the audience who make this channel rock the way it's starting to really, really rock. You all are the ones that's making this thing go. You're the ones that inspire me to say, what is the next particular stream that I can do next? How can I outdo this stream? How can I go out and do research and find out what else I need to present to the people? Okay, so keep this in mind. This channel is doing what it's doing because you as the audience are making this channel do what it do. And I appreciate it again. Real Aaron Collins, brother, I'll see you soon. Thank you for coming over. Thank you for coming over. Iron Fernandez, thank you for coming over. Everybody, Spades, thank you. 93, thank you for coming over. CM Entertainment, Betty Boo, everybody that's in here. The Queen, just everybody, Smith, everybody that's rocked tonight. You guys have been 100%, nothing but 100% golden for me tonight. So with that said, I'm going to get on out of here, folks. Let me see what Yusef is saying. Yusef, you've been rocking with me all night, and I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you. You've been doing a hell of a job in there. Hell of a job. To the mods out there, all of you are doing a hell of a job. Yusef, you've been doing a hell of a job tonight. Everybody's doing a hell of a job. This is my thing about the chat room. I don't have a problem with people. This is for the mods too. I don't have a problem with people who have a difference of opinion. You can have a difference of opinion. We're not going to time you out or block you. But if you start saying things that's nasty and ratchet, that is really disrespectful to people, like completely personal type talk, then you are going to feel the wrath of the army of blue that I have in that chat room. But other than that, I want people to have their opinions heard. I want to hear difference of opinion. I don't want an echo chamber over here. We need to have different opinions, even if we don't agree with those opinions. So I just want y'all to know that. Yusef from Ratchet Today said this: don't let these important topics slide just because we checking Monique for her low blow, because aside from that, these real issues being highlighted from the plantation down to our kids, you are correct.
Tell the truth.
And with that said, let's get on out of here, everybody. Take care.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe.
Wave, nice guy with a cold shoulder. You be cool, but I don't know you. Wrote a flower and I'm off the potion. Give me superpowers that I won't stop. To the bank roll on supermassive. Big bank for the space chatter. Way up in a squad NASA. Copperfield with the dark magic. Subtle flex when I run a race. Tell these rap buddies eat my dust. Lil baddie off the cellular. Talking life and how we set it up. I'm a sharpshooter, yeah, Will Smith. Call me Prince Park, let me freshen up. Bay boy on the level up. Way up in the nebulas. I'm never copping a chain, cause I see it all through the frames. And I leave it all on the page, just feeling like they want me locked in a cage. They want us all in their face, but I'ma go all the way A with it, cause I don't feel all the way safe here. Yeah, spray the champagne, shower up in the air. Stunner goggles, I don't mess with the flu. Untamed and she wild off the goose. Ghost ride, yeah, I come through the roof. Ducking 12, get it all on my tail. Hella wild and I break all the rules. Chill, bro, you way out of line. Yeah, I know it's a mood. I'ma go all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud, but I'ma go all the way up. Bad girl from the soil, she taking me out of this world, so I'ma go all the way. Got the JD squinting, got the gator spinning, I'm outrageous with it, going crazy with it. Got the phrase jumping off the page, gifted, got the waves swishing, got the neighbors tripping, got the trap booming, jumping out the speakers. Drip on me, jumping off the easel. Gold wristed, couldn't tell me no. Nah, bought a fisty, cooking the bars, turn a lab into a living kitchen. Watching grimace when I water whip it. Set up flexing with a candid image. Come from pushing in the S-type with no light.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel. Information is power. You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.